So how are you today?
I'm amazing. It's the giving season.
It is, yeah.
Which I really think should be all year, by the way.
It really should, but you know...
After she gave birth, he made an offhand remark about what life might look like if he ever lost her. Casually painting a picture of himself taking their 3 kids to the park alone, the comment was framed as a joke and drew laughter, but it also left some people uncomfortable. Unsure whether it was meant to be humorous or revealing, she later explained that her process of stepping into a role often begins with style, saying that what truly drew her in was discovering who Lily is at her core. Around this same period, Justin Baldoni was publicly expressing his desire to work with Blake again, comments that audiences laughed at, though many questioned whether that reaction was appropriate given the tension surrounding recent events. Blake Lively soon found herself at the center of global attention, and this time it had nothing to do with a glamorous premiere or a standout red carpet moment. Instead, reports began circulating that she was preparing to file an $80 million lawsuit against Saturday Night Live, following a live sketch that allegedly left her feeling humiliated in front of millions of viewers. What might have been dismissed as a throwaway joke quickly snowballed into a serious legal and public relations crisis, raising broader questions about the limits of comedy and the extreme measures celebrities may take to protect their reputations. The controversy traces back to a chain of events involving Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and a biting an air joke that rapidly evolved into a full-blown media storm. Once celebrated as one of Hollywood's most adored power couples, Blake and Ryan suddenly found themselves under relentless public scrutiny, with every gesture and comment dissected online. The situation intensified when SNL aired a sketch that initially appeared harmless, but a line delivered by Colin Jost struck a nerve by touching on sensitive personal issues, amplifying existing tensions surrounding the couple. Ryan Reynolds' cameo on the show came amid swirling rumors and mounting pressure, with hopes that his appearance would offer a moment of light-hearted relief and humor during an already turbulent period. Instead, the appearance seemed to fuel further debate, particularly as ongoing allegations involving another celebrity, Justin Baldoni, and his complicated history with Blake continued to resurface, adding yet another layer of controversy to an already explosive situation. A seemingly simple question from the host, "Hey Ryan, how's it going?" quickly set the stage for tension, as Ryan Reynolds responded with a joking remark about hidden stresses, leaving viewers unsure whether it was merely humor or a subtle hint at deeper personal pressures. The moment escalated when Colin Jost delivered his now infamous line, though timed perfectly in classic SNL comedic style. The joke referenced Justin Baldoni's alleged interest in working with Blake again, framing it as a political style analogy. What might have been intended as light-hearted satire instead struck Blake personally, landing with a force that shocked both the live audience and viewers at home. The layers of the situation only grew more complicated considering Jost's personal connections. He is married to Scarlett Johansson, Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, an added element that did not go unnoticed by the public and fueled speculation about subtext and intention. What began as a playful jab rapidly morphed into a pointed personal attack, instantly igniting social media into a frenzy. News outlets and fans dissected Blake's reaction with intense scrutiny, revisiting her carefully cultivated public persona and analyzing whether her previous interviews had truly reflected authenticity. Once celebrated as relatable and gracious, she was suddenly portrayed as fragile and overexposed. Analysts dug into old rumors, while memes, viral clips, and fiery debates dominated every platform. Within just 24 hours, over 3.5 million people had viewed, shared, or commented on the segment, transforming it into a full-blown online phenomenon. Industry insiders reported that Blake went into full panic mode, recognizing that this was far beyond a typical negative headline. It was a spectacle in which every camera angle, every comment, and every social media post seemed to scrutinize her credibility. Even past praise from A-list interviews was re-evaluated under a cynical lens, with fans questioning whether it had ever been genuine. Meanwhile, Ryan faced criticism for making light of the situation, rather than staying silent and managing the fallout behind the scenes. Determined to regain control, Blake reportedly took an extraordinary step. She hired Nick Shapiro, a figure rumored to have ties to high-level intelligence operations and deep expertise in media-driven crisis management. While it is common for celebrities to bring in PR professionals, enlisting someone with an intelligence background is highly unusual, signaling just how seriously Blake regarded the potential fallout. This move underscored the extraordinary stakes involved. She was not simply reacting to a joke, but launching a carefully calculated campaign to protect both her public image and legal standing. In doing so, Blake demonstrated just how high the pressure had become in this escalating Hollywood spectacle, turning what could have been a fleeting comedic moment into a high-stakes battle over reputation, perception, and power. In the midst of the ongoing storm, Ryan Reynolds reflected on family life, admitting that the household had been a tough adjustment with the arrival of their newest child. While their oldest daughter showed an instant, almost maternal attachment to the baby, the middle child was less enthusiastic, pretending to play rather than genuinely engaging. leaving the parents navigating the unpredictable dynamics of sibling relationships. Meanwhile, public attention remained firmly on Blake Lively. Online commentators were quick to highlight what they perceived as a growing hypocrisy. Blake, who had previously criticized figures like Justin Baldoni for employing aggressive PR strategies to manipulate public opinion, now appeared to be following a similar path. Reports surfaced claiming that she had enlisted Nick Shapiro, a figure rumored to have managed high-profile political crises, to handle her public relations and media strategy amid the Saturday Night Live lawsuit. This move only fueled speculation that her legal battle might be as much about controlling the narrative as it was about pursuing legal justice. Headlines touted supposed victories, with phrases like "Blake dominates in court" or "Judge backs Blake's strategy." But insiders noted that many of her legal requests had been scaled back or outright rejected. Nevertheless, her PR machinery framed these developments as triumphs, inadvertently keeping the controversy in the public eye and amplifying scrutiny rather than diffusing it. Fans and industry observers began to question why such extreme measures were necessary if her case were truly as strong as portrayed. Rumors suggested that the judge had dismissed parts of her demands as overreaching, subtly undermining her credibility. Supporters who once admired Blake began wondering whether her accusations had been overstated, especially as attention shifted back to Ryan Reynolds. An old clip resurfaced in which he humorously recounted awkwardly staring at a woman breastfeeding in public. While intended as a harmless anecdote, it now clashed with Blake's allegations against James Heath, whom she claimed had made inappropriate eye contact while she was nursing. Critics pointed out an apparent double standard. Blake condemned a fleeting glance as serious misconduct, while Ryan openly joked about prolonged staring. The contradiction did not go unnoticed, and the public began to question whether the couple applied one standard to themselves and another to others. Ryan's comedic persona, once celebrated for charm and relatability, now seemed at odds with the seriousness of Blake's claims, eroding sympathy for her in the eyes of some fans and media. Instead of rallying around her, colleagues and co-stars offered cautious, measured statements. One cast member from an upcoming project simply said, "It's complicated," while another high-profile peer offered enough praise to protect the film's marketability, but stopped short of defending Blake personally. This pattern is familiar in Hollywood, where image is everything. Support can evaporate quickly, and navigating public perception often becomes as crucial as the legal or personal realities themselves. In this high-stakes environment, Blake's moves, both legal and strategic, highlighted how celebrity conflicts can blur the line between reputation management, public narrative, and private grievance, leaving fans and critics alike trying to untangle fact from spectacle. When a star becomes a potential liability, colleagues rarely offer open criticism. Instead, they quietly step back, leaving the actor to face the fallout alone. In Blake Lively's case, comparisons quickly emerged to past celebrity scandals where public perception shifted slowly but dramatically, isolating previously supportive networks and leaving the individual vulnerable. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds attempted to rely on his trademark humor to diffuse tension, but in the midst of a high-profile legal and PR disaster, his levity only served to underscore the seriousness of the situation. Colin Jost's involvement added yet another layer of complexity. Speculation about Jost's personal connection being married to Scarlett Johansson. Ryan Reynolds' fueled theories that his comments may have been influenced by personal bias. Intentional or not, Ryan's jokes no longer landed with the charm audiences were accustomed to, and his comedic approach now seemed ill-suited for the gravity of the scandal. Blake, on the other hand, reportedly doubled down on her efforts. Rather than allowing the controversy to fade while focusing on her legal strategy, she intensified her public relations campaign, a move many observers considered excessive. Headlines proclaiming that Blake had won key lawsuit victories circulated widely, yet legal analysts emphasized that the court documents offered little support for such claims. Most of her requests had been either rejected outright or significantly scaled back. Observers noted a familiar Hollywood pattern. Minor procedural updates are often spun into major victories to shape public perception, particularly in situations where reputation is on the line. As the PR campaign continued, more entertainment industry figures quietly distanced themselves. Big productions rely on bankable stars with minimal off-screen drama, and Blake's escalating legal battle painted her as a potential liability. Co-stars and producers shifted from public praise to cautious avoidance, while brands that had once eagerly associated themselves with her wholesome, family-friendly image began reconsidering partnerships. Long-standing endorsements across lifestyle ventures, philanthropic projects, and family-oriented campaigns were suddenly at risk. The swirl of legal drama, combined with the resurfacing of Ryan Reynolds' controversial anecdotes, created a perfect storm. Supporters began questioning the authenticity of Blake's claims, colleagues maintained their distance, and public perception of the couple suffered under intense scrutiny. What might have begun as a single embarrassing incident had snowballed into a multi-layered scandal, threatening both professional reputations and personal credibility. In Hollywood's unforgiving machinery, image is everything, and in Blake and Ryan's case, A seemingly isolated moment had evolved into a relentless and high-stakes battle for public opinion, career stability, and personal vindication. One of Blake Lively's projects, which initially seemed like just another career milestone, unexpectedly became a focal point in the growing controversy. What began as excitement over landing the role turned quickly into tension when her managers and agent called her simultaneously, a signal that something serious was underway. The news was bizarre. While she had been selected for the role, network executives claimed her eyebrows were too distracting, prompting frantic discussions about what could be done. This surreal moment mirrored a larger trend that had emerged in Hollywood. Executives who had once praised Blake for her warmth, professionalism, and charisma now issued cautious, measured statements, claiming they needed more time to evaluate the situation. Insiders suggested that her high-profile crisis management strategies, particularly hiring a former intelligence operative, had made some brands and collaborators uneasy. The situation was no longer a typical Hollywood hiccup. It carried the potential for serious, long-lasting damage. Being publicly associated with Blake could make partners appear complicit in media manipulation or narrative control, raising the stakes even higher. For a star long celebrated for blending youthful glamour with relatable charm, this type of baggage was enough to make even seasoned producers pause. Meanwhile, online communities exploded, dissecting every rumor, leaked email snippet, and alleged court document. The saga quickly mirrored past celebrity feuds, spiraling into social media feeding frenzies where fans and critics scrutinized every moment in real time. Observers framed the story as a symbol of Hollywood's deeper dynamics: who gets protected, how narratives are spun, and what happens when perceived double standards are exposed. Speculation grew about whether projects involving Blake or Ryan might be quietly postponed. Casting directors monitor online sentiment closely, and negative buzz can drastically reshape a star's perceived value. The studios reportedly began weighing whether either Blake or Ryan's involvement could overshadow a project, prompting potential marketing adjustments, revised schedules, or even recasting key roles. Scripts to which Blake had long been attached reportedly circulated internally, with questions about her continued participation, while mid-budget dramas that had once relied on her star power began exploring alternatives on the surface. These seemed like minor shifts, but behind the scenes, they signaled Hollywood hedging its bets. For Ryan Reynolds, the impact was equally tangible. His once effortless comedic charm now risked coming across as tone-deaf. Jokes that had previously charmed audiences with his signature wit now felt evasive in the context of lawsuits, intelligence operatives, and serious allegations swirling around the couple. Analysts noted that Ryan's public persona had always been central to their joint PR strategy. But with the stakes so high, the line between humor and perceived denial had blurred. Fans and critics alike debated his sincerity, with forums lighting up over apparent contradictions, particularly regarding the infamous breastfeeding incident. If Blake claimed that a fleeting glance while nursing was traumatic, how could Ryan's admitted prolonged staring be shrugged off as a joke? The inconsistency fueled heated discussions, even among loyal supporters, and began to erode the couple's carefully curated image. As the saga unfolded, broader conversations emerged about the nature of modern Hollywood disputes. Stories involving top-tier celebrities, massive lawsuits, and explosive rumors have the potential to dominate headlines for months, and this situation was no exception. Media watchers compared it to other high-profile defamation and harassment cases, noting how every move from strategic leaks and press releases to surprise late-night TV appearances was designed to shape public perception. Blake's decision to bring in someone with intelligence experience was viewed as a bold and unusual effort to control the narrative. Legal experts, however, emphasized that public opinion and PR spin could only go so far. The ultimate outcome would hinge on hard evidence, credible witnesses, verifiable documents, and consistent testimony. Without solid legal backing, even the most aggressive media campaign could not guarantee success in court. Meanwhile, Ryan's casual or humorous comments risked unintentionally undermining any positive narrative they tried to build, making the situation increasingly precarious and leaving both their professional and personal reputations in the public crosshairs.